Hello everybody, this is Kat here from Grounded and Graceful Yoga Teacher Training, and here is a little video about yoga and ethics. So rather than it being about the niyamas and yamas, which of course it does relate to as well, it's more about the ethics of being a yoga teacher. So the standards of being a yoga teacher. I might have a slightly different take on this to what you've heard before, but bear with me till the end and I will try and make my point clear. I've thought about all of this quite a lot and I'm excited to share it with you. So first of all, let's just go through the basics. So you're a yoga teacher. What standards do you have to adhere to? So we can look at some of the initial ones. So one of the initial ones that I can remember learning about on my teacher training was cleanliness, which is one of the niyamas. So it's a standard that you should in fact always turn up to teach clean. I know that seems so basic, but it's really important. So you would always shower. You would have clean clothes, no stains on your clothes or anything like that, no drop food. I know sometimes I've gone to teach yoga and on the way it's been raining and I've got mud on my leggings and I can't really do anything about it. But the intention was to go with clean leggings. You would brush your teeth, you would do your hair, and if you want to make sure your face is nice and clean, that would be appropriate too. So cleanliness is a standard that you must adhere to. While people might think it's kind of okay just to turn up to yoga in, groggy clothes and dirty feet and messy hair, because it's yoga and we're hippies, I'd like to remind everyone that cleanliness and good presentation is one of the niyamas. And it's not okay to look like a dirty hippie. So yes, cleanliness. What would be another one of the basics? So how you charge people. So you would either tell your students in the beginning that the class is free. I would recommend giving free classes while you're learning to teach. So I know even after I got my teacher training certificate, for the first 6 months after that, I gave a hell of a lot of free classes and I'm very pleased that I did that. There's something that happens when it's a free class. You kind of feel more comfortable in the beginning. I did anyway, because there's no expectation. They were just so grateful, so immensely grateful to be receiving the class for free, that it allowed me to be more me, be more comfortable, and to really refine my teaching skills. So if you're giving a free class, you're giving a free class. You would tell them and you would therefore not take any money. But eventually along the line you are going to charge. So what are the ethics? Well, maybe look around and see what the going rate is. Don't undercharge or you will be undermining other teachers, and you don't want to do that. You shouldn't be stealing other students by undercharging. Non-stealing is also one of the yamas. So please try and make your rates the going rate. If it's slightly under or slightly above, that would be fine, but you don't want to be doing to either of the extremes. You would set your rate. They would know your rate before they arrive. And if you have rules, so if you give monthly passes, monthly cards, make sure that they clearly know how long this pass is valid for. And don't be afraid. So there will be students who try to get you to extend the pass, or book a class and cancel it last minute, and all these things are obviously stealing from you, from your livelihood. which is not going to prove very beneficial to anybody. So please be completely comfortable with stating your terms and conditions and sticking by them. Of course, if you feel like one of the situations, for example, someone couldn't come to use the final class on the class card because their mother died, or you know, their child was terribly sick and they had to go to the hospital, and you believe them, then yeah, you can extend it. But you have to, I definitely was the kind of person who was just like, oh, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. And you know, some people would be using a 1 month class pass for maybe 6 months, and obviously that meant I wasn't getting paid for 5 months of those 6 months, which it's not very good for your dignity. And it's important that you remain dignified, and in protecting your earning capacity is one way of doing that, in a very kind, compassionate way, but being very firm and fair and honest. So don't be afraid to set your prices according to the going market rate here thereabouts, and to let people know the terms and conditions, and to stick to them as best you can. Other things, so we talked about cleanliness, we've talked about prices, advertising. You can ethically advertise, and by that way I would mean it's just an honest representation of your business and what you are offering. I do try to use my photos only, so it's giving an honest representation of what I'm offering. I did once, however, pay a professional marketing manager to do some of my Instagram for me, and she was using images from freeimages.com and Pinterest. And when she was using images from those platforms, she was always crediting them. So if you do take imagery from other places, credit the place you're taking it from, and make sure you are always representing your business honestly. So, you know, maybe say, this picture is not me, thanks to Pinterest for this beautiful picture. So honest representation of your offering. When people ask you about your experience, it's your duty as a yoga teacher to be honest. Don't lie, don't try and play yourself up, and equally don't play yourself down. Just be honest. Don't worry if you don't have so much experience and you don't think it sounds too great. Well, if it doesn't sound too great to them, they can choose someone else, and it will sound perfectly good enough for other people who are right for you. So just always being honest. Now we get to the points that I've had a little think about that might be a little bit not what's always written in the textbook. So should I be friends with my yoga students? Well, being one of the gang, if you like, I used to think it was totally important to be one of the gang, to build a community, and I still think it's very important to build a community. Very, very, very important, because we all need community. But being one of the gang is different. If you're going to be the teacher of this great weighty science and philosophy, then you should probably be using your time more beneficially than doing gang things. So what I mean by that is, classic example, when I'm teaching on a retreat, lots of people go out to the nightclubs, and I don't go. Some people think that's bad because I'm not going out with them, but I'm going to go to bed early and I'm going to wake up without a hangover. Of course, I have definitely gone out on odd occasions for closing ceremonies, etc. But as a rule, I don't want to be, doing the gang things. Or if they all go out for a day, maybe I can stay at home and study and replenish myself. So can you be friends with your students? Yes, you totally can. But remember, a teacher has to take a different role than being, you know, the most popular person in the gang. You're probably going to have to lay down some rules. People might not think you're the nicest person when you're laying down rules. You're going to have to lead. People don't always like leaders. People can get jealous or resentful. You're going to have to deal with that. If you're going to be a fully blown professional serious teacher, I'm going to recommend you to choose your inner circle really wisely. Of course, when you're just starting out, it doesn't matter too much, but I'm giving you advice for the long run. So in conclusion, yes, definitely build meaningful relationships, build communities, love people, care for people, but don't try to be the most populous one in the gang. Okay, leave that to the gang and you do your job and stay on track with your job. Of course, when there's a big event coming up and you show your face and have fun with them, then of course, but in general, you've got a job to do and you need to pick your inner circle very wisely and you need to trust them. Can I have relationships with my yoga students? Well, in this day and age, it's likely that you might meet a future partner in yoga. You know, lots of people are doing yoga, but do you really want to turn your class or your offering into a pickup joint? No, I don't think it should be. If, you know, you start to like someone in the class, maybe become aware of that and take action to remove yourself from that class. So if you're the teacher and you start liking a student, maybe ask them to find another teacher. Or if you're a student and you like the teacher, maybe find another teacher. And then when you've kind of removed yourself from the professional setting, maybe then you could explore a more intimate relationship. Don't think that you can't have an intimate relationship with someone you meet in the yoga circle, because that would be unrealistic. You know, you might meet the love of your life in your local yoga studio. Yes, that's true, but that shouldn't be your intention as a teacher. I'm sure it won't be. Moving on from that is the hands-on assists. You're going to make sure if you ever touch someone, you never ever ever touch them in an intimate, sensual way. You are touching them in a way that is black and white, helping them, guiding them. Should you wear sexy clothes to yoga? I don't think you should. I can probably count on both hands the times that I've worn, you know, a little crop top to class. I might do it if I'm teaching a class about the second chakra, which is about sensuality, because I think it fits with the theme of the class. In fact, I did that on the teacher training. But no, I'm not going to walk around in a skimpy little crop top all day. I don't think it's necessary for the teacher to be doing that, and I think that you should make sure that you're dressed elegantly. Some people might say, but it's my self-expression of myself. Well, express yourself in an elegant, professional way is my recommendation. If your top's falling down and showing bits of your body, or you're bending over and your leggings are see-through, then you're not going to be taken very seriously. So, you know, just be aware of those things. You are going to be the teacher. The teacher needs to be clean, well presented, elegant. You need to choose your inner circle very wisely. Trust the people that you're choosing to be in your inner circle. If you do start to like someone, or someone starts to like you in the yoga circle, take action so that can be done with integrity. And don't wear clothes that show too much of your body or your underwear. Anything else? Don't swear in your class. Never swear in your class, even if it's funny. Don't talk about sex in your class, even if it's funny. Yeah, I mean, there's so many things I could go into, but you've got to remember that people are coming to your class for so many different reasons, and there's so many ways to trigger people. Some people are coming with a perfectly clean slate, happy, healthy, positive, yay, happy, happy, happy. Some people are coming from past experiences of being abused or having a hard time. So just make sure that you empty yourself of all your stuff before you go into the class. So you can imagine this glass, it's got my water in. Empty your water out your glass, out of you, and be an empty container to hold the class. Not with any of your stuff, but let the space be for them. So you're showing up as a professional teacher who can hold space with integrity and seriousness and compassion. Yeah, so what I'd like to ask the teacher trainers to do after this chat is to write maybe a little journal extract or an essay about what this has brought up for you. So how are you gonna show up as a professional? What are you gonna wear to your class? What are you going to do to prepare for your class before you enter it? You're going to have 10 coffees and be buzzing like a bee? Or are you going to try and, take a few deep breaths and show up as a calm, empty container? Are you going to overcharge people or undercharge people? Are you going to let people take advantage of your prices? Or are you going to be showing up with dignity and staying true to your terms and conditions? Are you going to be hanging out and going out with all the students all the time? Or are you going to save that for just maybe special occasions? And the other time you'll be doing what a good teacher does, which is being a student. Are you going to be filling your head with less than positive spiritual things like, gossiping, bitching, porn, horror movies? Or are you going to try and keep what's going into you pure and light? You have chosen this path to teach yoga, and you need to realize that you are holding every student's heart in your hand. I'll repeat that. You are holding every student's heart in your hand. What are you going to do with that heart? Are you going to give it all your rubbish? Or are you going to let it sit in the light of your heart? So are you going to get past all your stuff and find your light so you can let their heart touch your heart, and together you can create something beautiful? Write me something. I don't mind what it is. An essay, a journal, you can write me a letter, you could write me a poem, a song. The title of the homework is called Holding a Heart in Your Hands. How are you going to hold their hearts in your hands? Be happy, be well, be yourself, be love. Namaste.